Thank you very much.
Kaufman is Alive. I look at comic books new and old. Today I'm looking at a new comic book, Daredevil Black Armor #1. This came out in January of 2024. It's got a $4.99 cover price. I happened to get this really cool, flashy foil variant cover. Let's see who the cover's by. It's Paulo Seguera and Rachel Rosenberg does the colors here. We get a Mark Bagley drawing here. This is the A cover on the interiors. This whole series, though, is drawn by Nitho Diaz. And this is kind of how I discovered Nitho Diaz, was in this comic book here. He's the current artist on X-Men right now, along with Ryan Stegman. But this was kind of my first introduction to Nitho Diaz as an artist, and I really liked his stuff. It's got kind of a throwback feel to it. Feels like something that could have fit right into the 90s. He's got a very energetic art style. Lots of great action. Great faces. And he draws great hands too, which is one thing I've really noticed about Nitho Diaz's work. You go through any of it, he's always drawing really cool looking hands. As you can see, just might not be something you ever really notice, but for some reason that's just something that's really stuck out to me with his artwork, is just his really cool looking hands. He draws really cool looking faces too. This story is retold from back in the 90s when this Black Armor first appeared. That's when this is taking place. It's a pretty typical Daredevil story. It's well written. Nothing really too interesting going on though. Basically just doing things that you'd normally find in a Daredevil comic book. He's trying to help people out. He's using his alternate moniker Jack Batlin instead of Matt Murdock. Matt Murdock is believed to be dead at this point, but he's Jack Batlin and he's giving street legal advice to people. So kind of doing similar work to what Matt Murdock was doing, but of course Jack Batlin doesn't play up the fact that he's blind, so people don't realize it's also Matt Murdock. But there's some human trafficking going on in this story, and basically we've got Daredevil trying to figure it out. It leads him to this warehouse where he actually runs into the Kingpin. Get some great shots of Black Armor Daredevil here. Earlier in the book, there's kind of a funny line. He's getting his armor kind of redone here by Melvin, who used to be the Gladiator. This character also appeared in the Daredevil Netflix show. He was the guy who was building Matt Murdock's costume like he is here. But he calls it an armor, and Matt says, I never called it that. So Matt doesn't think of it as an armor necessarily, but so he gets into battle with Kingpin and these thugs. Kingpin kind of plays coy about knowing anything about the human trafficking, but he mentions the railway yards that are nearby this building here. Some cool, again, some really cool artwork here. Again, some great hands. All different sorts of hand poses here. And we get kind of the final reveal on the last page. Daredevil using all of his senses here. Really cool design, page design here. But he realizes that it's Hydra, and I think this is Baron von Strucker, if I'm not mistaken. They're trying to, he says, close our fist on Hell's Kitchen. So trying to take control over Hell's Kitchen here. Again, not a real interesting plot or anything. We do get Sabretooth showing up. Hobgoblin shows up in the next issue. Kind of a typical Daredevil plot. It's told, a throwback to the 90s. It's taking place back in that era. And Daredevil one of my favorite characters. This is a pretty cool issue. If you like Daredevil, I'd recommend it. I love this cover. It's kind of why I got it. And then it turned me on to the artist on the inside, which is always cool. So this was a cool comic for me to pick up. I really liked it. And they're bringing back the black armor in the current Daredevil comic books. So I thought this was a good time to kind of bring this one out and look at it. So thanks again for watching. That's all I got today. See you guys on the next one. Go read comics.